Today, we're going to talk about branding with Justine Pogroske. She has created an incredible company. I love the name of it, Million Dollar Brands. And she looks like $1,000,000. You are just this gorgeous, stunning, beautiful human.
Aw.
I feel so honored to got to meet you in the studio and have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Likewise, thank you so much. And I mean, look at you. As I said, we need to roll out the red carpet. You look amazing. And it's just so nice to connect with someone so real, because real people are so far and few. So I'm so grateful to be here.
Oh, I'm so grateful to have you. I mean, you do what is so important. Branding is a huge part. So many of us have these great ideas, right? We want to create businesses, but if it's not branded and marketed properly, no one's going to know about it.
Absolutely.
So, we talk to moms here. Moms Matter is all about moms, helping inspire moms and get moms to really reach their full potential. And so many moms have great ideas for businesses, but they don't even know where to begin. What's your advice on starting with your dream?
I just think you need to start. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong because they don't start. And I'm not talking about, let's say you've got an idea for a product or a business, because it can be a service-based business or it can be a product, which is very different. But I think the most important thing is don't fall in love with your own idea. Like what I would say, so many people make that mistake. I think it's so important that you test it. And I'm not just talking about with your kids or your husband or families and friends. Like you really need to test it with your demographic of people that you're trying to speak to. Because I think when you test something, then you get, it's almost like a polarized view. And I mean, one of my favorite shows is Shark Tank, and they'll say it how it is. And we were discussing before, I think I'm a bit more East Coast personality. And yeah, just don't fall in love with your own idea and start. A lot of people have ideas and then they just don't make it happen. They don't make it start.
Right, right. I mean, look, I remember when my kids were younger, there was this great DVD. It was a time when we had DVDs and it was called Baby Einstein. Okay. It was a mom who said she wanted her kids to watch something that was like educational. And so she created this thing called Baby Einsteins. And it was all about looking at these little puppets. It was so simple with, all this great music, classical music in the background. And it launched and she ended up selling it for, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Amazing.
But, I wonder, something like that, like when you say try it, demographics, what do you mean by that?
I think like depending on what the product is. So obviously if you've got a makeup brand, you're not going to try it with, I'm going to just throw a number out there. Don't crucify me for age, but you're not going to try the products on 60-year-old men. You've got to become very clear about who your market is, what they want, and then test the product. So I'm sure in her demographic, she actually tested the product amongst kids and amongst people who were going to use it, right? Probably parents.
Right.
Because she wanted to gauge if it was going to work or not. And a lot of people have this problem where they'll think of a name or they'll think of a product and then they'll produce 500,000 of them and then the product doesn't work.
Right.
I'm very big on operating lean. So when I say lean, operating on a shoestring budget, test the product, get it out there, do one or two, don't fall in love with it, see if it works, and then you're on a roll.
Great advice. That's great advice. So let's say you do that and there's a market and you go forward with it, right? But then how do you brand? Like so many of us as women have such a hard time branding ourselves because we want to be humble.
Exactly.
Right? How do you brand yourself?
So I think the most important thing with branding, again, it's about, I think to me, branding is evoking an emotion. So I would say get out of your own head and work out what message are you trying to convey with that demographic or target market. So it's actually not about you. I always say if you've got a gift for the world and you're not offering value or you're not putting it out there, then you're doing the world a disservice. So come from a place of being humble, can still be humble, but I mean, you also got to be, I'm going to call it a boss, because you want to get your message out and you're doing the world a disservice if you don't. So when it comes to branding, what emotion do you want to evoke with your brand? And if you've got a gift, put it on a pedestal, celebrate it. I think that's the best way forward.
I love that. That's so true because we all do have a gift, right?
Yes.
And we need to let it shine.
Absolutely.
And we shouldn't keep it hidden.
Absolutely.
And so what you do with your business is to help people shine, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, how does it work, Justine? People come to you and say, okay, I've got this product or it's me, it's LA Mom Magazine and help me. And what do you do for them?
I think the most important thing is to put the brand on a pedestal. So what we do best at $1 Million Branders, when it comes to writing content or copy, or whether it's the look and feel of the brand. I mean, everyone can do branding, but the real branders in this world will make it look like it's been around a long time. It's about a legacy. It's not just about creating a mom and pop brand that's hit the shelves, that's a one-time hit. It's about actually creating a legacy that's going to go down in generations. I mean, you look at brands like Coke, they're a generational brand. It may not be the healthiest, but they've got history. McDonald's has history. Lamborghini, one of my favorite brands, has history. So it's about creating a history, creating a legacy, and that's what branding is. And I work with a lot of luxury brands. I work a lot with entrepreneurs who have made it in this world and have built a legacy, but they just don't know how to communicate their message. But you got to start somewhere. And I think one of the most important questions you can ask yourself when you're building a brand is, what is the legacy I want to leave on the world?
I love that. I love that. I mean, there's so many brands today, too, that take political stances or are very philanthropic. There's a lot of social entrepreneurship out there. You and I talked offline about being proud Jews.
Yes.
I would never guess, based on you're Australian, you're this beautiful woman, you don't look Jewish.
Thanks.
I wouldn't know, but that we both feel this love, for Israel and love for our Judaism. How do you feel about brands that come to you and have maybe an opposing view to yours and want you to help get that message out?
And I'm so glad you asked that. And when you were speaking, I was actually getting shivers because I do love Israel and it's got such a special place in my heart. And being Jewish has such a special place in my heart. And I think it's important. Like, I want people to know that I'm a proud Jew. I want people to know that I support my home and my country. But when it comes to political stances, I think that I have a saying, you're not going to be everyone's cup of chino. You're not going to be for everyone, especially when it comes to branding and taking a political stance. I mean, if you're not taking a stance, then you're doing it wrong. So I think it's important to be you. It's important to believe in what is important to you and get your message out there. And if you don't do it, who's going to do it? Wow. So it's really important to take a stance with that stuff. And I know I'm not normal, but I prefer to be very true in myself. Everything I do has an element of class, an element of true feelings, true attitude. What you see is what you get. And I just think that's so important when it comes to your brand.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really important to remember, not everyone's going to like you in this world, but it's your job to do the best job possible of taking a stance on what you believe to be true and standing for what you believe in. And it doesn't matter what it is.
Well, I also think we have so much more respect for brands that have a soul and that stand for something.
100%.
Like you said, if you're not standing for something, then you are, right? And it's very negative. So you think, whatever brand you are, you should take a stance and you should speak up and be strong in who you are and your value system.
100%. I mean, you do an amazing job at it. And I think that people don't want to be a sheep. They don't want to be in the flock. I think if you can be different, every single brand that I've worked on and my company's worked on, we make sure that you're different, that you don't slip into the sea of everyone and everything. I mean, life would be so boring. Imagine if we all looked the same, spoke the same, had the same fingerprints. Make your fingerprint on the world different. That's what I say when it comes to branding.
Oh, I love that, Justine. That's why you're so good at what you do. It's soulful, it's intentional, it's authentic. I mean, it's incredible.
So
I would love for you, Justine, to look at that camera over there. And to anyone who's looking to really get their brand going and moving forward, what would be your advice to them?
I think don't be scared to move forward. You're obviously watching this. You've landed on this amazing video for a reason. And if you have that burning desire to create something, the world's waiting for you to create it. So don't do the world a disservice of not sharing your gifts, not sharing your brand, not sharing your ideas, and make it happen because the world's waiting for you.
Thank you, Justine. That was
so
so
much.
helpful, so amazing. I know that moms will be rewinding and rewatching this on how to launch, how to move forward. It's so great to meet you. For people who want more information, want to connect with Justine, maybe hire her for a project, you can find her on Instagram. We'll put all the links below. And you saw it right here on Moms Matter, and we'll see you all next time.